All right, so far all the work we've done to the car has been related to the brakes and the suspension. Now I wanted to jump inside the car and address a couple issues, starting with the shifter. Now the shifter in this car isn't bolted directly to the transmission like you're probably used to. This one hangs off the back of the transmission on a couple brackets, and then it's connected to the transmission with some linkage, and in the linkage it has rubber bushings just like the control arms. Just like the control arms, the rubber deteriorates over time and it causes the shifter to be really sloppy feeling, and it could cause issues getting the car into gear. So in a perfect world, we would just replace the whole shifter, something from Steeda or Hurst or something similar. Now that would run several $100s to do that. So since we're on a budget, we're just going to replace the rubber bushings in that shift linkage with some polyurethane to help reduce some of that slop. Before we get the car in the air, we need to go ahead and remove the shift boot and the shift knob. The shift knob will just unscrew. And then the shift boot will just pull up out of the console with some clips. Then we want to go ahead and remove the rubber boot inside the console. Alright, with the shift boot out of the way, you can see just how much play is in the shifter assembly. This is in first gear. Alright, with the car up on the lift, now we can see the bushings that we're going to replace. The first one is in this bracket. You can see that. And then the next one is going to be this front bushing. Right here. So basically we just have to remove this bolt, remove these two bolts, and then the linkage bolts right here in the bottom, and then we can remove the whole shifter assembly. So now I got the shifter assembly off, and you can get a better look at what we're going to replace. So this is what comes in the energy suspension kit. So these two round bushings are going to go like this, and they're going to replace this front bushing. So first of all, we have to take out this metal sleeve that goes through the center. And then we're going to slide this bushing off the rear. You can see just how soft that rubber is. It just squishes between your fingers. That's what makes the shifter feel really mushy, right? Compare that with the energy suspension polyurethane bushing, and it is really hard. Like, you can barely get any movement out of it with your fingers. So we're going to go ahead and get these swapped out and then get the shifter back on the car. Alright, so I just drove the car after replacing the shifter bushings. My first impressions, it's not a night and day difference for sure, but it does take some of that slop out of the shifter and just cleans up the shifts a little bit, gives you a little bit more confidence that you're going to the right gear when you're trying to shift fast. So definitely not the improvement you're going to see going to an aftermarket shifter, or something like a short throw shifter, but it took about 30 minutes on the lift and $15 for the bushing, so I think it's well worth that. So that's all we have for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.